Welcome to Black History Matters 2024. This is the fourth installment of an educational series produced by the National Abolition Hall of Fame and Museum. This year, these short educational videos are meant to provide an introduction to topics important to our understanding of Black American history, but also the larger history of the African diaspora across the Americas and the world. We do have a few other series available on our YouTube channel, so if you ever want to check those out, please feel free to visit them on our YouTube homepage. Today, I'm pleased to welcome you to today's episode, From Africa to the Caribbean, Exploring African Influences in Cuba and Haiti. While the previous video's focus was on African influences still visible in the United States, today we're going to focus on African influence visible in surviving traditions across the Caribbean, with a particular emphasis on Haiti and Cuba. Delving into these traditions illuminates the enduring legacy of African people who were forcibly transported to the Caribbean during the transatlantic slave trade. Learning about these African traditions in the Caribbean provides insight into the resilience of enslaved communities who navigated challenges while preserving their cultural heritage from the communities they or their ancestors belonged to in Africa. Moreover, it underscores the interconnectedness of global histories, highlighting the lasting impact of colonialism, slavery, and resistance on Caribbean societies. In the 16th century, Cuba became a hub for the transatlantic slave trade, with Africans forcibly brought to the island to work primarily in sugar plantations under Spanish colonial rule. Around 800,000 Africans are thought to have been transported to Cuba, which is significantly higher than those brought to the United States. And although Cuba stopped participating in the slave trade in 1867, it did not abolish slavery until 1886. Therefore, the significant African population in Cuba formed the backbone of the island's economy, enduring harsh conditions while enabling the white population to grow rich off of sugar exports. Despite the oppressive circumstances, however, African customs, languages, and traditions persisted among enslaved communities, shaping the unique Afro-Cuban identity that endures to this day. I would like to give a few examples of where we see this legacy in order to highlight the ways in which mixing cultures was a form of resistance during this trying time. The first example I'll mention is Santeria. Santeria is an Afro-Cuban religion that blends Yoruba beliefs with Catholicism. While Cuba was under the colonial rule of Spain, Spain imposed Catholic practices upon the native population of the island, like the Taínos, whom Columbus first encountered upon reaching the island in 1492, and then later on the Africans that the Spanish brought to the island. Santeria's mixing of two distinct religions exemplifies the enduring legacy of African customs in modern Cuba. Practitioners of Santeria honor orishas, or deities, through rituals, music, and dance, preserving ancestral connections and spiritual practices passed down through generations. Likewise, in Santeria, Catholic saints are often equated with the Yoruba deities, creating a parallel religious framework. For example, statues of Catholic saints may be used to represent specific orishas, and Catholic holidays are sometimes celebrated alongside traditional Santeria festivals. This syncretic fusion reflects the adaptive nature of religious beliefs and the complex cultural dynamics that shaped Afro-Caribbean spirituality. Another manifestation of African influence in Cuba is the vibrant rhythms and movements of Afro-Cuban music and dance, such as salsa and rumba, which reflect the fusion of African and Spanish cultures. In rumba, the syncopated beats of African drums and the energetic footwork reflect the fusion of African and Spanish musical traditions. Salsa also draws heavily from African rhythmic elements, such as the clave pattern and polyrhythms. The improvisational nature of both rumba and salsa dance further echoes African dance traditions, emphasizing spontaneity, expression, and community engagement. Thus, we see that rather than disappear or assimilate upon encounters with Spanish spirituality, music, and dance, Africans created a fusion of cultures that is still present as a staple of culture in the Caribbean today. Another island nation in the Caribbean that reflects this fusion is Haiti. Haiti was once a French colony known as Saint-Domingue. Like Cuba, it also witnessed a similar influx of enslaved Africans, primarily brought to work on sugar plantations under brutal conditions. The estimates for the importation of enslaved Africans is similar to that of Cuba, nearly double the number of those transported to the U.S. This led Haiti to become a majority black island, a demographic imbalance which caused much fear in the few elite whites who governed the island and attempted to control the enslaved Africans they profited from. French colonialism and slavery deeply scarred Haiti, shaping its tumultuous history and fueling resentment among its enslaved population. Hence, the Haitian Revolution of 1791, which culminated in Haiti becoming the first independent Black republic in the Western Hemisphere. This was a truly revolutionary experience, as the revolution was largely led by capable and intelligent individuals that were either mulatto, formerly enslaved but born on the island colony, or from Africa, and forgive my French here, such as Toussaint Louverture, Jean-Jacques Dessalines, and Henri Christophe. It also shattered the supremacist vision that many enslavers held that Africans, or in this case the enslaved or Afro-Caribs, were incapable, whether from fear or lack of intelligence, from revolting. This was actually the first successful slave rebellion and, as we mentioned, led to the creation of a nation. Despite the hardships and oppression endured by Haiti's inhabitants, both during slavery and after the creation of the Haitian nation, African customs continued to permeate Haitian culture, serving as a resilient link to ancestral heritage and resistance. Voodoo, a syncretic religion blending African, Catholic, brought from the French, and indigenous beliefs, remains a vital aspect of Haitian spirituality and cultural identity. Practiced by the majority of Haitians, Voodoo encompasses rituals, ceremonies, and reverence for spirits known as loa. In Voodoo practice, Catholic saints are often syncretized with African deities, creating a complex pantheon where each figure holds dual significance. Rituals and ceremonies incorporate elements of Catholic liturgy alongside traditional African drumming, dance, and chants. Likewise, symbols such as crucifix and candles are used alongside sacred objects like ritual drums. In addition to Voodoo, Haitian music and dance reflects the legacy of African traditions. The pulsating rhythms of Haitian drumming and the movement of traditional dance forms like Janvaloa and Nago testify to the use of African culture on Haiti's artistic expression. Like our Cuban example, the prevalence to this day of these practices, which evolved from the clashing of cultures between the Africans, the indigenous, and Europeans, proves that the creation of culture is not a one-way street. While Europeans might have mastered the physical bodies of the enslaved Africans whose ancestors they brought by force from Africa, they were not able to enslave their souls and minds. Today, the Caribbean is celebrated for its fusion of cultures, and we owe it to those who, amidst tremendous adversity, persevered in maintaining their roots. Thank you for joining us today for this presentation, From Africa to the Caribbean, Exploring African Influences in Cuba and Haiti. On your screen, you will see a link to a Google form. The link is also available in the video description. This form will take you to a survey where you can leave feedback about your experience with this video. Your feedback helps us plan for future events and to secure funding, so we really appreciate it if you can take a few minutes to fill it out. Once again, thank you, and we look forward to seeing you again at our next presentation.